We all have a story. May I share why I'm even on this stage today? When we start talking about crisis management, we have to understand that crisis is not something that is naturally there. It's created when you question your own ability. When you know what you can do, there's no crisis, there's no question. Crisis does not make or break the man or woman, it just reveals the true character within. We can if we think we can. To illustrate, I played football, as I said, for 13 years. My dreams of playing professional football were coming true until one day in practice, the dream ended. We had a tackling drill. Coach blew the whistle. Two of us ran into each other full speed. The only parts of our bodies that made contact, Lyle's helmet hit my right shoulder and my neck, and we fell to the ground. When he got off of me, my eye drooped. I had loss of speech. I couldn't talk anymore. My right side was paralyzed. My arm dangled at my side. Coach comes running over. Clark, you all right? What happened? I said, blah, blah, blah. He says, wow, you from New Jersey? I'm just kidding. He said, whoa, you better just lay there. I said, whoo. A doctor that was present on the field, he came over and he examined me. He pulls the coach aside. He says, Clark's got serious nerve damage. In fact, he might even have serious brain damage. Coach looks at him and says, how will we ever know? Nice guy. Finally, my eye went back to normal. My speech came back. I could basically talk again. But my right side stayed paralyzed. My arm dangled at my side. I talked to it and it wouldn't move. Scared me to death. And yes, it was a physical injury, but it affected my whole life. You see, I wasn't just paralyzed physically. I was paralyzed emotionally. I couldn't write anymore. I was right-handed. I couldn't think and concentrate on doing anything. I couldn't go to school. I couldn't work. I used to get these little electrical impulses on my hand. It felt like somebody plugged my arm into an electric socket. I went home to a family dinner. I'm sitting there at the dinner table, and all of a sudden my arm goes, whing. I knocked a bowl of mayonnaise off the table about 20 feet. Next meal, my younger brother shows up wearing a batting helmet and goggles. You pass me the butter. Whoa. My life hit rock bottom, and I got to the point where I didn't think I could get up and go again. Why? I thought I was depressed. What happens when we think we're depressed? We are. If I'm going too fast, just raise your hand. I'm definitely not Tom Cruise, but I'm on a limb saying that most people who say they're depressed are not depressed. They just think they are depressed because they're hanging around with people who tell them that they're depressed. Miserable being finds other miserable being, then they are happy. I stayed paralyzed for over a year. Took me another year to get better. And everybody wants to know, why did I stay paralyzed for so long? And what was the magic miracle that allowed me to get back up and go again? What allowed me to understand the essence of crisis management, that it comes from the inside out. When your attitude is right, your abilities will always catch up. It comes down to asking the right questions and getting better answers. And isn't that the reason why you're here? As Sue talks about education and learning, it's about learning to ask better questions so we can get better answers? Absolutely. You see, the reason why I stayed paralyzed for a year was because I was asking the wrong questions. I was asking the doctors how to get better when I should have been asking myself, why should I get better? And once we answer why, figuring out the how-to is pretty simple. And when I realized why I should get better and gave myself a reason to focus on purposes instead of just setting goals, reflecting back on this experience helped me understand the heart and soul of ServPro. Because you're not about money, you're not about making deals, you're about relationships, which is what we'll talk about in a moment. You're about restoring this American dream from hope in the inside out. And when I started asking why and answering why, figuring out the how-to was pretty simple. And in that question and answer session with my own self, I discovered there's a giant difference between being depressed and being disappointed. There's a huge difference between being depressed and being discouraged. And finally understand that, I was able to get back up and go again. I locked my door with the attitude in mind that I wasn't going to come out of my room until I got my hand above my head. Remember, it had been over a year. I started the struggling process, got my hand about that high, propped it up with some pillows to rest so I wouldn't have to raise it that high again. I'm not replacing anything, I'm restoring. I continued to stretch, got my hand about that high, propped it up with some more pillows. I continued. I had shoes, books, clocks, you name it. 7 hours later, I had my hand above my head. I did it. Next day, it only took me 5 hours. I was making progress. And I continued to progress until I could finally go like this 10 times. And I went into the weight room where I had to start all over again. A 1 pound, 5 pound, 10 pound, 25, 50, 100 pound weights. And over the course of that other year, I got the complete and control of my body back. I got the feeling back into my body. The only part of my body that did not recover was my right shoulder. The feeling did not come back. That's why I can't play football or baseball anymore. My story of crisis management is really, really simple. It's hanging around with the right people who will allow me to start dreaming a mighty dream again. And it's allowing me to create and write the story that I need it to be so I can start sharing it with others with the attitude that when we get together, we leave better than we were when we arrived. And we leave saying, I like me best when I'm with you. I want to see you again.